So Sam, why don't you get us going with the article from the Atlantic, and you also send me a video that goes with it. It's the authors talking and speaking on CNN, and it's about Russiagate. So why don't you
Oh yeah,
take it from here?
I just want. Yeah, it seems that. I mean, I know loads of people have done a video similar to this. That Russiagate is not going away, and it's like, as Matt Taibbi put it, is a bit scarier than even William Days in terms of like, because they don't like care. Like there was even like there was there's signs that they may scapegoat that Russian
We
dude. Sorry,
sorry.
go ahead.
No. I was gonna say we made a video based on the Matt Taibbi article saying that the whitewashing era of Russiagate has begun. Now they're trying to find excuses and lay blame on X, Y, and Z. But perhaps it's a bit premature and we haven't reached that stage. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, I would like imagine. I think the both processes are going at the same time, but I
Mm-hmm.
think in this case, the denial is stronger than apologies. Denial is stronger than the sort of whitewashing that is going on, and my exhibit A for that, I sent the I sent the video to you because the video was basically
Summary of the
the
article.
yes, summary of the article. And like, anyway, this article called by the Atlantic, the prestigious right-wing news, the prestigious spokesperson
Mm-hmm.
for the US establishment, um, is by David Frum. Do you know David Frum? I mean, now
Now,
you know.
no, yeah.
But he's the genius fellow, like Canadian, uh, he, yeah, Jewish Canadian, moved to US, I believe, studied Yale, and he was one of the group of people who was described as bringing intellectual heft to George Bush administration. And as you recall, I'm sure the intellectual heft of George Bush administration as a whole was so much that it was almost invisible to the to naked or non-naked eye. It was
Wait,
just too much
so now I
intellectual
remember
heft.
you mentioned this. He was a speechwriter for Bush, you said,
Yes, yes,
and he works at the
he
Atlantic. Isn't the Atlantic,
now he works at
but isn't it
Atlantic.
supposedly like a liberal outlet that specializes in long articles? I mean, that's their
Yeah.
characteristic. If you want to work there, this is a short one, actually, now that I say that.
They don't do long articles. They're magazine. But
Yeah.
they, you know, they do. I'm sure they do some shitty in-depth report. But yeah, it just shows you so much. I mean, to be
Well,
honest, George Bush and stuff, they're all liberals anyway. I mean, they were liberal. They were liberal interventionist, relative to liberal institutionalist,
hmm.
let's say, of Democrats. But yeah, now he then, he said he voted for Hillary and all that. He's one of the, he's, he, his
Makes it
wife, I
worse.
believe. Yeah, it's, yeah, exactly. It's like, God damn it, you're like a bottom feeder. Yeah, his wife credits him with, apparently, he with coming up. His wife is also a genius. Politics. It's also, anyway, credits him with coming up with the great, with the sentence that possibly led to the schism that has led to a 20-year conflict between Iran and US, that has led to the death of American soldiers, as well as of suffering and death of more than thousands of Iranians. The sentence, "Axis of Evil,"
Mm.
which basically, this was after Iran helped US in Afghanistan, basically pretty much giving them all the targets, as well as giving them some very little help in Afghanistan, in Iraq as well. So in pre Iraq invasion. But yeah, so his wife, like, this is something they're proud of. And he has his whole shtick is that his whole shtick is the same goddamn shtick that people like Dave Rubin. He's like the more sophisticated Dave Rubin. It's just during his time there were less people to call it out, which is like, oh, I wear a suit and I speak in very, very polite, I speak as if, let me just read the title of the article from The Atlantic. It wasn't a hoax. People with scant illusions about Trump are volunteering to help him execute one of his big lies, one of his big lies about if Donald Trump had been supported only by people who affirmatively liked him, his attack on American democracy would never have gotten as far as it did. Instead, at almost every turn, Trump was helped by people who had little liking for him as human being or politician. So, I'm wearing a suit but I have tics and I have neurosis that would make me fit completely perfectly at the Morning Joe or somewhere. But I'm a conservative and I'm Jewish and supporter of Israel, of course. So and this got them, like, he's been wrong about everything. By the way, these were all the people who were saying that Trump is not going to even make it through Republican primary. He marshals out, and if you have some kind of, I don't know, masochism, or you really have deep self-loathing, you can, like me, read the article. But he marshals out 12 paragraphs of complete bullshit, and before marshalling them out, he says, the factual record on Trump Russia has been set forth most authoritatively by the report of the Senate Intelligence Committee, which is a complete bullshit. Like, Senate Intelligence Committee, they point to this report committee because it's done by Republicans who, they also hate Russians, they also hate Trump.
Yeah.
Anyway, then chaired by Richard Burr, a Republican from North Carolina. Ooh. I'll reduce the complex details to very few agreed upon by virtually everybody outside the core Trump group, Trump propaganda group. And it points at 12 facts which nobody agrees on.
Yeah, and before you get
I'm not going to read 12 points.
Yeah, no, I know. But I think one thing he's also like trying to say is like, oh, fine, the dossier thing, the Steele dossier thing was bullshit. And I knew it was bullshit. But it doesn't mean that everything else was wrong, right? That's kind of the route he's taking. And then he puts out these 12 points about why Russiagate could have been real. The funniest ones, maybe you should read. I love number 1.
Yeah,
because number 1 has nothing to do with anything. And hold on, number 1 and 11. Groups. I really like 1 and 11. We're not gonna list them off. Maybe you have other ones you like.
Yeah, but I think largely are in 2 categories. Like, what does that have to do with anything? Like, everybody agrees that Trump is an asshole. Of course, yeah, we know, but that has nothing to do. Yeah. And then the second category is the facts that everybody disagrees on. Like, and then he's like, no, it's just outside of Trump support. So you love 1. You read 1.
Yeah, number 1 is dating back to at least 2006.
Yeah,
Trump and his companies did tens of millions of dollars of business with Russian individuals and other buyers whose profile raised the possibility of money laundering. Again, the link to Russiagate, I don't get it. The second one links to it. In 2013, Trump's pursuit of Russian business intensified. That year, he staged Miss Universe pageant in Moscow.
Oh no, that's a different point. But in the first one, he even BuzzFeed News investigation. BuzzFeed News, the people who everybody said we're not gonna touch this Steele dossier, but BuzzFeed went, sure.
Oh, true, and then they're okay.
Yeah, but I love the fact that, I'm sorry, but can you, like, this is again Chapo Trap House guys' point is, any real estate house person in New York or in any major city, what do you think they did? And with, like, I'm sorry, but Clintons, they didn't have tens of millions of dollars with Rush. Like, who? Like, if you were in business, international business, I'm sorry, but you did some deals with the Russians. That's like, and by the way, it's as UK... if Russia. By the way, Russian people, you do know that Russian people are all part of a hive mind. You do know that, right? It's not like, right, there is no individuality
Yeah,
among Russian people. They are all part of a hive mind, and at top is Putin. And
yeah,
Putin, you do a business with a Russian billionaire. Putin is like, it's like, did you see the Dune, the Mentat?
yeah,
His eyes just goes like that, and he gets in for what the hell? It's just, in my view, it's almost xenophobic. But
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Bring it all that. I know. And I mean, if only they knew what goes on in the UK and stuff, like their beloved, ally. Like there's like the Russians who like literally own like the biggest football club. And I'm sure it's all about
Half of the
getting
parliament is
legitimacy of his
like,
money and stuff. I mean, if they only knew the level or their other, yeah, or a bunch of other allies of theirs in the Middle East. Though I name some countries where Russians are also very much welcome now. So I mean,
Matt, according to like the CIA sources, I think it was WikiLeaks. I don't know. Like, like pretty much Italy is owned by Russians. Like they own
yeah,
all the politicians. Like, and
but
it's still like the idea that all Russian billionaires are all part of one entity, or
yeah,
like. Or by the way, when a lot of times when these guys say Russians, they mean anybody from former Soviet
mhm,
republics. Like if you're Lithuanian, Latvian, Estonian, all of this
yeah,
is counted as Russians when it's necessarily, by the way. When it's
no.
not necessarily, suddenly you're a freedom fighter. But yeah.
And this, I mean, and
So
in this article, I mean, he does a lot of things that they don't do. Like, okay, they point something, but then they don't say why this would support or link that. So again, trying to show the collaboration, point number 11, between Russians and Trump, like alleged collaboration, whatever. He says, at crucial moments in the 2016 election, Trump publicly took positions
11, point
that
11. Oh.
broke with past Republican policy and served no apparent domestic political purpose, such as scoffing at NATO, support for Estonia. I mean, I'm sorry, going after NATO
Support
was very
first.
beneficial for him. That was part of like, his domestic political thing of not wasting money. So I don't know, he
Look,
can't even
and no,
interpret
no,
that, or unless I'm wrong. But I love how that point has not even anything to do with Russians.
yeah. No, Brexit, same with the Brexit.
Yeah.
I mean, look, he would say, oh, all of this, he's creating this unity among a camp that is against, like, because they see Russia, like NATO was created to fight Warsaw Pact, not even goddamn Soviet Union, Warsaw Pact, which was bigger than Soviet Union. And then like Russia has nothing to do with Soviet Union or Warsaw Pact. But I would say that yeah, this is, by the way, like scoffing at NATO and like complaining about Germany. Not like this has been again. It just shows just the level of, like, U.S. presidents have all been, because U.S. presidents have a personal mandate. They're answerable to people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're not as answerable to the party, like Congress people or Senate and all that, right? So there is always that tension between a president. It's always pretty much been there since Eisenhower. The presidents kind of going for a more détente sort of thing, while the Congress and Senate are a bit more towards more hawkish stance because of the way the first past the post system, gerrymandering, all of that. So it's, yeah, the level of analysis is just,
and
I mean, he's propaganda. I mean, I hate that word because I think I'm a propagandist, but he's just such a shitty one. He's just shitty at it. But yeah, sorry, go.
No, I was just going to say, I did obviously pick the two funniest points. So, I mean, like, maybe one of them has more value that you can argue if someone wants to go read it. But then he also has the typical things with WikiLeaks and all this. So I don't even know. I mean, maybe sure, if you read them, I'm trying to have fun with this article. I did mention it's the two funniest ones. But sure, maybe one of his 12 points would be, more defendable than the two that I pointed out. Then at the end, he has probably the funniest paragraph, though, which just shows how full of himself he is. I won't say.
Oh, he's the most. Yeah, he's a. I just want to point out from the other category of points he makes, the disputed ones. That is, I'm just going to put out some facts that everybody agrees on. One was number 10. In March 2016, the Trump campaign accepted the unpaid services of Paul Manafort, deeply beholden to deeply shady Russian business and political figures. Paul Manafort, famously the lobbyist for tortures, was not beholden to. That's what I wanted to say about why did I say that, everybody's a Russian if they come from former. So he was beholden to Ukrainian. He was a lobbyist for Ukrainian guys. He was the lobbyist the
Yeah, so I
Americans
see.
put in charge. He was famous for lobbying for the guys Americans supported in Eastern Europe, not just Russians.
Yeah.
In fact, the reason he went, and I think he's still in jail, was his activities for them, not for Trump. God damn. I mean, just anyway. And number 8, which is just
Yeah,
slander. I
that's
think he can
the
get
yeah.
sued for this. Through its ally Roger Stone, the Trump campaign team, as oh Jesus, assiduously, I don't know how to pronounce that.
Assiduously, but yeah, I wouldn't be able to say it if I was just reading. Yeah,
Assiduously is like hardcore. Is that what that means? Like
true. Good question.
very hardcorely. I don't know. Very I mean, this like
With great care and
big
perseverance. Anyway,
words.
yeah.
Yeah, with strong-willedly. I mean, big man using big words. Try to communicate with WikiLeaks before, like, period, right? So he's just stating facts, right?
Yeah.
So this is that's wanted to point out from the other categories of his genius, right? I mean, if there was any, by the way, people who believe in karma, if there was any karma in this world, this man would not be able to get a job as a, I don't know, as a toilet cleaner. But he's working on the Atlantic.
Yeah, and here's the last point of showing how full of himself he is. I mean, I had underlined this paragraph. I mean, so he's talking about, again, Russiagate, of course. He wrote, quote, "Not every journalist has to work on every story. Smaller abuses and lesser failures also demand attention alongside the greatest abuses and larger failures." Abuses and larger failures. But if you choose, as a journalist or a consumer of journalism, to focus on smaller issues, you need to retain your perspective about what is bigger and what is smaller. So on top of that, he has the audacity to come and say that, what I'm writing and reading, this is extremely important. If you like to do other stuff, sure, but mention that you're not important, but I'm covering the most important story.
Big picture issue.
Based on these 12 points, which one of them relies on Trump running Miss Universe and him doing business with Russians.
Trying to run Miss Universe.
Well, I mean, and the Russian, yeah.
Oh man, it's just this guy is specifically, I really find this guy detestable, David Frum, because he did also go to Yale. And Yale, again, as I mentioned, Yale is for people who goddamn run the world or own the world. They're not like you're like, even for it, so like you're such a bottom feeder. Like, goddamn you, like, just put somebody who I feel like buys their own bullshit. And the worst thing is this: he generates this respectability. And during Thanksgiving, he was like tweeting about how funny this is turkey he's gonna cut and all that. And this is somebody who has literal blood. Like, I don't know, like, God, what was it? Lady Macbeth had like what was sort of in a second degree kind of way responsible for murder of a couple of people who were also mass murderers, just like Macbeth, right? And she was like haunted by it, couldn't wash her hands for a couple of years and all that. And these guys have just like finished off like just mass murdering like a couple of cities in Middle East.
Yeah.
And now they're complete, like they're tweeting about turkeys and everybody's like, oh, how cool.
Completely rehabilitated. I mean, they probably don't even associate that past of his is gone, It's like, it doesn't even exist.
Yeah. I can't believe people have forgotten the axis of evil thing, because it was just such a
cool 100%.
But then again, George Bush is rehabilitated. So
exactly.
Dick Cheney, I mean, Cheney, not really, but his daughter, Liz Cheney, has
Yeah,
good
she's
name.
okay. But I mean,
Dick Cheney is difficult to, yeah, like
Bush went as far as being defended by what's her name, that TV host? No, I forgot.
Rachel. Oh,
No,
Ellen,
Ellen DeGeneres.
not defended, man. Yeah, Michelle Obama hacked.
Yeah. Jesus. All right, let's keep this party moving, Sam. The next article I send you is by The Guardian. It just I got interested. I just found it interesting because I didn't know that Lego was from Denmark. But let me just read this story so we don't. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that, people. My headphones died. But yes, Sam, let me just read the one or two paragraphs so we don't bury the lead of this story. So Lego gives its 20,000 employees 3 days extra holiday. Not bad. After profits rise 140%. Pandemic lockdowns and continued expansion in China helped the Danish company to continue building its global toy empire. So Lego, the world's largest toy maker, has awarded its 20,000 employees 3 extra days of holiday and a special bonus after a year of bumper revenues. I wonder how much they gave to who and everyone. So the success of pandemic-forced lockdown has seen demand for Lego's signature plastic bricks soar alongside the rapid expansion in China. The family group, which is not listed on any stock exchange, reported a net profit of nearly $950 million for the first half of 2021, just profits, an increase of 140% on the same period in 2020. Revenues shot up 46% to 23 billion kronors, that's in Danish, in the same period. And one more fact right here. Go ahead.
No, just want to say, I think that they're equivalent of euros. I think 1-1.
No, it's 6-1. If I take no, it's not, because I'm looking at this other figure that they gave. And finally, in this last paragraph, the group opened more than 60 new branded stores in the first half of 2021, with more than 40 of them being in China. This brings the total number of Lego retail stores as of 30th of June to 737, with 291 of those located in China. So wow, nearly a third of their stores. So yeah, good luck boycotting China for getting my business there. But yeah, so they gave their workers 3 extra days of holidays, which is not so bad. And I'm guessing in some Scandinavian countries,
basic
they
3
have
days per year.
3 extra days of holiday. I would assume it's per year. Or maybe they just did it this year, or maybe they'll remove it. I don't know. And they've also sent some kind of bonus check. But I mean, their profits have more than doubled. So I guess they had to. But yeah, I didn't know that Lego were Danish. And they're also family owned.
Oh yeah, I did know I definitely knew they're Danish. They have a city within Copenhagen, like they made the whole Europe or something out of Lego and all that. But I did know just because I know I feel my love of Britain should come to play here. But it's a kind of a stolen idea.
Yeah, no, tell me about that.
Not a stolen, but the guy who came up with the idea was this British guy, I think, Hilary Page or something. He came up with self-building blocks or something, like they didn't call them Lego. And they bought, I don't know if, let me check if Lego bought it or he didn't patent the thing.
Yeah, I guess they must have patented heavily if no American corporation has taken over since.
Yeah. They have been described as Orient. Oh, yeah, and the Kittycraft. It was called the Kittycraft self-locking building bricks. and yeah, it's not a good name.
Yeah, it kind of goes to my slogan. But yeah, in any case, I mean, at first I was, of course, attracted, drawn by the fact that they're giving extra holidays, and even if it's a little bonus check, you don't hear these things often.
Yeah, they did stole it. It seems it's like, according to Wikipedia, Ole Kirk Christensen and his son became aware of craft bricks after examining a sample and possibly drawings given to them by a British supplier of the first injection molding machines, realizing their potential. Blah blah blah. So yeah, so it was a British invention, English.
Interesting.
So yes,
interesting. But
I just
yeah.
wanted to point that out.
Very interesting. And I guess the last thing that you could say about this that's kind of interesting, you kind of think about only digital businesses having benefited big during this pandemic, but I guess some other businesses also, they had a nice business model or business activity that lined up well with pandemic and lockdowns and all this.
Do you like?
I liked very little. And man, these prices of these, let me read you another paragraph. Top performing themes included Lego City, Lego Star Wars, blah, blah, blah. And also a 9,090 piece model of the doomed ship RMS Titanic, which retails for $629. So, I mean, these are not some cheap ass Lego toys you see.
Man, Lego is super. I mean, I recently, because of my nephew, I had to buy it because it was so expensive.
Just listen to me. Just get your nephew a ball and that's it. That's all he needs. Just get him a ball and some shoes.
He agrees. And yeah, I'm not a fan of Lego, I must say. I've never, as a kid, not a fan of Lego, as in, I'm not a fan of their politics, Lego. No, I just, as a child, I never liked I don't like the faces. I don't like how I like it to be a bit more, I like the action figures.
I see.
I
never really played with toys too much, although I did play with Legos a little bit. And I played with action figures until I was like 7, like almost 8. But then I didn't like suddenly I couldn't like touch them or look at them. Like I couldn't care less. I remember I used to take them to school up until 3rd grade. And then like that was it.
9. No, I still play with them, to be fair. So yeah, it's my mess. But no, Lego was just too. At first of all, as a kid, I was like, "What is this watch you're giving me home?" Like, it was like puzzles. I hated when they gave you puzzles for birthday or.
No, I hated when people gave you clothes. I mean, that is the ultimate.
That's worse. That's
like slap in the face as a kid. Like, don't give me anything. That was the worst. But honestly, anything besides a remote control car, I had no interest. If you were giving me.
No, I hate cars. I like small cars, like again, I would prefer clothes to puzzles. Puzzles are, I would say, like the puzzles that you like. What is like? At least get me a paint or something.
I mean, at least to puzzles defense, at least while you have the packaging still wrapped, you're unsure of what's in there unless you shake it. But the clothing one, you can spot it from a mile away. It's a soft piece of shit.
Like it can be good T-shirts or something.
I don't think as a kid
like if there's Batman or something.
True. Maybe if they got me a football jersey or something.